Go. She rolling right now?
We are rolling.
Rolling.
What's going on, everybody? This is Frankie Cavone, and we are live again from the office. Episode 5. Thank you all for tuning in. As all of you know, you can listen, watch the From the Office and Kinda Live, Kinda Living podcast on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud. You can watch it live on YouTube, and even see it later tonight on Facebook as a Facebook premiere. We're here with our main man, Brad Hester of Annie in the Water. How you doing today, man?
Dude, doing super good.
That's good to see you, dude. And it's been a while. Last time I saw you was up at Stowe back in September 26th to the date. And that was my first time seeing you guys play in quite some time prior to just the impact of COVID. And just seeing you guys play so tight, playing new songs, and even including some of the old band members' songs from past bands was just, to me, so great to watch.
Yeah.
So what's it like now, like with the writing process and just playing with the current lineup of Annie in the Water?
Yeah, so what's really great is, I think the most humbling thing is that we have a whole group of guys that are like determined to get through this situation. So we got each other's backs. We got some days set aside in December, about 10 days in December. We've already gotten together every couple weeks in the last couple months to write, and writing from scratch, which is great. So like the last couple songs happened because Matt Richards was like playing with like a patch on his keys, and we're like, oh yeah, we'll run with that, and then we like built a beat around that, and then kind of wrote some collective lyrics, and everybody, like we're down. Like it's been really cool the last couple months, like making sure we get together and develop it.
That's great that you guys are still making that importance to see each other as often as you can through all of this. And I guess what's been the most difficult part about just being in a band in 2020?
Yeah, it's kind of just like looking at everything and wanting to go out and play more. So I just played last night a solo show at Barrel House. Next Wednesday is going to be my last one for a little bit because we're writing and going to be kind of like housed in. I'm staying up in Jay, New York, so it's a little bit of a trip down here every time. So it's been interesting to focus on the inner me and figuring out what music is for me and what's for the band, because we've always like, and Mike's doing the same right now too. He's got some songs he's working on.
Nice.
Because we have a stack of projects like that's taller than this house, honestly. Like if you were to, like if you could like put a measurement to it, because I've never released anything until this year, because I always thought I had to like save it for the band, and we were like doing this duo thing, trio thing, kind of like trying to build a band over the last 10 years, and feeling like we really have something special. Has given the room to look at what I've created and kind of put my energy into the things that I know work better for me if I'm playing by myself.
Right.
And then Mike and I are also doing like a little duo thing. We got 5 or 6 songs we're working on that are going to be specifically kind of like that energy, and then we have the songs that we're working on with the band that we want everybody involved with writing.
Now, in the past, would you and Mike be writing songs separately, bringing them into the band, or was it just a collective thing prior to that, or I guess comparing to what you're saying now, is it like, does it make it easier to know that things are super collaborative in Annie in the Water, and kind of like allow you to have your own freedom in your singer and songwriting solo artist just playing, or?
Yeah, so our like debut album, if you want to call it that, that's on Spotify, called Destination, was like songs that we had as a duo, and we didn't like have a band, but our buddy Matthew Davis played drums on that and did really well. He like learned all the songs in like 2 days and like killed them in the studio, and then we did like the bass parts. So it's like, it was kind of a collection of songs that we knew we liked, but we didn't really know how to like translate it live at the time because we were a duo. So, and a couple of those are like I wrote the entire thing, and like we did it, we worked on it together. One or two of them like Mike wrote, and then like there were a couple where we each wrote like half of it. Like the song "Turnaround" actually, which we are redoing with the band currently.
Oh, cool.
On that album was Mike wrote the chorus, and then I already had these verses, and we're like, holy crap, these go perfect. Like not only the meaning, but the energy and like the whole like feel of it was like a perfect match.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
Sometimes
Dude.
that happens, and yeah, like sometimes it could just start with a concept. Like Chris Myers like got a bunch of little concepts that he's sending to the band, like in our group text, and we're just like, dude, that's perfect. So we worked on one of them last week too, and that one's coming into the fold too. So it's like kind of like this really chill style. It's got a lot of room to kind of play.
That's cool.
It's
So
sweet.
you're approaching, so like with Chris Meyer, he's sending you some bass grooves.
Yeah.
Are you approaching the songwriting process differently than when you're laying down the chords first? Or is it still technically the same thing? I mean, just four strings.
Yeah. It's like so different. Every song has come to me differently, I feel. Sometimes it's like the words first. Like our song Seeds, that's gonna be a new one. That happened because Matt Richards and I were playing a duo at Barrel House in almost a year ago now probably, and I just like started playing this groove, and then he starts playing this groove, and then I looked in my phone, I like swiped down all these notes, and I just picked the first one I came to and started singing out of what I don't even remember writing it, but I was singing out of a note in my phone, and that's turned into one of these new songs.
That's incredible,
So we
man.
did play it at Stowe.
Okay, Seeds.
Yeah.
Oh,
Seeds I plant and I water them too.
yes. Oh my
So it is
God.
as I'm called to do. So it's like that's one of those.
I gotta say, I love it. That song specifically sounds. It sounds like it has like its own place in your guys' repertoire, where it's different, and I'm sure it's got to help with like writing a set list and like figuring out slots and where you want to put that song or Change My Mind, compared to everything else or.
Yeah.
But that's awesome, man. And I've always known you as a musician my whole life. I first met you in 2017. I was a chicken. I never said hello, but you guys were playing at Adirondack Independence Music Festival 2017. And I remember just seeing you guys having your band meeting before hopping on the stage to play the first set of the day. And I just remember immediately being attached to the high energy performance that you guys have, because you guys not only play, you guys perform too, and it shows. Like, when you guys are in it, you could see it physically. Like, you guys are just all bouncing back and forth, and like it's just really great to see. And from my understanding, you and Mike met through playing lacrosse.
Yep.
On different teams.
Yeah, different colleges completely, because I grew up kind of like all over. I went to high school in Virginia.
Oh, really?
And then I came up to Hobart College for lacrosse, and my roommate, Ricky Evans, my man, it was like really good buddies with Mike in high school. And so Mike came to visit one night, and we were like, we went out and we're like all over the place. And we had a little chicken wing incident where we ate all of our roommates' chicken wings. Matt DeLiba, love you too, buddy. And then we jammed at like 2 in the morning. This was like 2007.
So you were already
6.
playing music at this point.
Another interesting. The main reason why I'm playing music is I've always had melodies in my head.
Yeah.
My mom's always had to be like, okay, like if you're gonna sing all the time, maybe give me a break from it. You know what I mean? I know she always loves it, but there's Steven Tyler has a book. I think it's called it's like Do the Melodies in My Head Annoy You or something. It's along those lines, but it's always been in my head. So I knew I was always supposed to. But playing lacrosse in high school, my senior year, I'm playing goalie. And this dude was passing the ball to the crease, so I was coming out to hit the guy that was going to catch it and turn and shoot, and my teammate and I hit at the same time. My buddy Josh Austin, love you too, brother. And so we both go down. I was fine, but Josh wasn't, and he ended up being needing to go to the hospital, a lacerated kidney or spleen or something.
God.
And So I felt like waking bad, and I'm like, yo, Josh, like, I'm gonna come chill with you. It was like spring break, so he's like bedridden, spring break, senior year of high school. And like, I was just like, well, shit, dude, like, let's play guitar. Like, can you teach me guitar? Because he was like awesome at guitar at the
No
time.
way. Okay.
So like, I like learned from my buddy Josh when I was getting started, and so that brought me to be like absolutely in love with it. This first time I strung a chord, I was like, okay, yep, like I knew, like I was never gonna put it down.
Wow.
And so yeah, coming into college, I was like kind of a beginner, and Mike was already at this point where he'd been playing for probably 8 or 9 years or something. So our first jam was like, I'd never seen anybody play guitar like that in front of my face, and we were just like, yo, let's do it this summer, and we met up August. So it would have been fall. This was 05, 06. 06. It was fall of 06 when we first met each other.
So if that impact between you guys never happened,
Who
there,
knows?
you wouldn't. There may have not have been Nanny in the water.
Maybe I'd be like a bagpipe player or something instead. It's not too late.
I don't know if I
still-
could see you as a
still
bagpipe
pick up
player, but hey,
bagpipes.
you got the pipe, so I guess it would work out regardless. And
Yeah.
so wow, okay. And I always wonder. I was like, music's such a peaceful thing, and I mean with sports, I mean lacrosse is super physical, a lot of contact. I mean you're running up and down the field, you know. It's what was it? I don't know. Was it different for you to go down that route and or was it kind of relatable? I don't know.
I think what is different is what you mentioned already is the artistical side of music, where there's no better than, in my opinion. It's just different.
Yeah.
And then so everybody has like a different feeling or a different opinion on certain kinds of art. So there's like not like a winner, I would say. Whereas in sports, it's like, okay, you gotta win. And I did like play hockey growing up too. So
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, and
What did you play?
So I played wing when I was young. I played center, and then I played defense. Played pretty much everything but goalie.
Yeah.
But I was on like the checking line. So like, as you're like mentioning, music's all peaceful, and like I was like on the line. I would dump the puck in the corner and go like make the defenseman never want to touch the puck.
You go ice it.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I would go hit them.
Oh, you go
Like,
hit
I'd
them.
dump
Oh,
it in
wow.
and then like hit. So like coming from hockey and then being in lacrosse and then going to music, the difference is in that creation. The similarities, what I see, is it's very much so a team thing.
Yeah.
If you're in a group, and one thing I'm really, really, really proud of is in about 11 years. So, no, it's been 13 years now that I've been playing with Mike, and with the group, and there's only been 2 instances of over 1,200 shows where like we drank too much or like, and it was like in our first like year, and I ended up seeing a video of it, and I'm like, no, that's not it. Like we thought we still sounded fine, but like it wasn't like, if this is the Super Bowl of a show, like that's not it.
Right.
And so ever since that moment, that was only the second time that I can remember even being like, well, you know, we were kind of like not on the ball. Like every single show has been like, we're there, we're focused. Doesn't matter if it's a duo, doesn't matter if it's a lunch music. Like I'm there to express the music, and
Absolutely.
that's one thing I'm like really, really proud of. Every time we have like a full band show too, like we're in it. It's got that purpose. We have a whole mission statement that says that our top priorities are conscious interactions with people, and also delivery of the music being at the top.
Yeah.
So it's very much a game where we have to support each other and we have to listen. And if anybody is out of whack with that, it's just not. It's not going to be at that level where we are. We want to create one sound.
So just like a team in sports, you guys are holding yourselves accountable for what is happening on stage and off stage, how you guys are interacting with each other.
Yeah.
That's good. And you know that, having that second opinion. Okay, we could have done this better this way. It makes you look at something through a lens differently, because it's like, I think that is a problem with a lot of, not all musicians, but some, sometimes just like, only see things their way, and it's like you could expand so much more on what you're learning and doing by just, I don't know, getting an opinion and like having you and Mike, you guys are like, 1 and 2. I mean, was the intentions of Annie in the Water to be a full band at first, or was it, oh, we're a duo, we like this concept, or was it just we're gonna paint the picture however the stones lay?
Yeah, it was kind of like we were rolling with it and wanted to put together a full band.
Right.
But I mean, as you're aware, kind of like being, your own business manager, like the expenses and all that stuff, it quadruples.
Definitely.
If you're a solo person versus a four group, or like, quintuples or sextuples if you got 6 people. Whereas if there's 2 people, you're adding, you're timesing that by 3 for expenses. And if you have a full group, so it just makes it a little bit more in this spot where money matters a lot. And then obviously the business aspect of the music, having kind of like learned it pretty well, because we did all of our own self-management for still now pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's at least given us a pretty big outlook on how to approach certain things. So we'll still do duo shows, we'll still do solo shows, and then that kind of like floats us through. And we've done different combos of duos, like Mike's played with Rippy, Mike's played with Brock, I've played with Chris, I've played with
it's not your
with
traditional
Matt.
double acoustic. It's you guys are, you went out and played with a Matt. You have a melody maker and you got somebody playing the strings. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we'll figure it out. We'll mix it up and mix and match, and really, because it's all about the music. And like, so I feel like those of us that are out there playing a lot,
Yeah.
I feel like we're doing it because we love it, and that's at least my perception of it. Nothing will stop me from doing it. Regardless, I gotta make it happen.
Yeah.
However I can. So.
Now, does that make it hard knowing that? Because I mean, like you brought up, you guys are your own business,
Mm-hmm.
and does that add any stress to you, like knowing that, okay, you got to pay the bills, or is it more or less the music will take care of itself and take care of us?
I think what we've really realized is allowing it to unfold by focusing on the music is really important. What I am grateful for is learning from all kinds of things, having been the one responsible for making sure that we get what we were promised, or what we're worth, or because there's obviously, I thought it was going to be easier when I started,
Right.
like, because it's like, oh, you got these great music, people like these songs, like, okay, like, yeah, like, big crowd. Well, you still have to go do it, and you still have to go and like create the atmospheres and find the right places. And you could be told like, oh, this venue's great, and you go there and like the neighborhood's like dangerous, and it's like not a great venue. And we've done that several times. There's been multiple times where people have tried not to pay us, and it's just like I gotta like chase them down, and like so having learned all that stuff has prepared me for how I want to interact with a management company when it's time.
Right.
So it's like I understand what they're dealing with. It's almost like if you were to start at the as like a grips guy and work your way up to be director. It's like same kind of thing. Like now you have the experience of all the levels. You know how to relate to everybody. So I think that has been really valuable. And then we still have our own ability to guide where we're going, and we make our choices for what's best for us and our group.
That's good. And it's not like you're signing a contract blindly. It's
Right.
by you knowing what the manager's doing, it's like, okay, I can kind of have some influence on what decision is going to be made because I've been there before. So with that, I mean, that is a whole nother topic we could dive into, but But Annie in the Water, something I really want to talk about is just today's lineup and the solidified lineup that you guys had for a decent time now. Matt Richards, Chris Meyer, yourself, Mike Lachaume,
Brian
Brock,
Trumbull.
Brian
Yeah.
Trumbull, Brock.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. Being just a huge fan of Formula 5 prior to Matt joining your guys' band, it just I loved everything that they did. It meant the world to me seeing them play and just be happy playing, and then when things happened, it was so great to see that Matt was still diehard, wanting to play music no matter what it took, and seeing him collide into your guys' world. And how did that exactly come about?
It came about from making sure that we had keys for a couple shows where we didn't, and he was available. And then we just got to know him, and the opportunity came up, and it's sometimes you can't even plan for synchronicity like that. You just have to recognize it when it comes about.
Yeah.
And I know he actually gave up an opportunity working at a nursery, a plant nursery, gave up that opportunity to be in the group.
Wow.
So I know he made some really appreciated sacrifice to come over and take a chance on something. And it fills you with more motivation, I think. It filled me with great motivation.
Yeah.
And at the time I still couldn't play guitar with the thing I had going on with my finger, so it was
Right. Yeah. You were.
Yeah.
So what happened? And because I from the time that I
Right.
saw you, it was like you were playing this totally insane looking instrument because of
Oh, right,
your
yeah.
injury. So
Yeah.
how did the injury happen, and how'd you just perceive through that?
It was because I coach lacrosse still, and I shoot on goalies, so I'm working with goalies, and I did a lot of shooting over December 2018, and the ligament on this outside finger here, or the outside ligament on this ring finger, was right on the shaft, right on the edge of the shaft, and I kept shooting, and every once in a while I would feel it, and I'd be oh, that kind of hurt, and keep going. Didn't think anything of it, and then all of a sudden at Christmas 2018, I was playing, I was learning back pocket by Wolfpack, and I'm just
Wow.
and then my finger blew up that night, and it was huge, and I'm just okay, this kind of hurts, this is not great. And I was planning on recording this song for 10 months. I had all my stuff set up, so I played another 3 hours that night, because it didn't hurt to play, but it would hurt after. And so then the next day it was just so swollen. I looked it up, and I couldn't figure out what it was, and I kept playing without this finger, and I was overstressing the other ones. So then it was the flexor tendon on this finger was really tender, and by January 12th I couldn't even touch my index finger. It was so sensitive, and it was tender would be the word.
It's gotta be scary.
Yeah, it was weird, 'cause I was just well, this is not good at all, and the only way I could do anything was with looping. If I'd set a loop and then sing to it, and that was the last show that I played. I was just I'm not even gonna touch a guitar.
Yeah.
And I didn't play again until our album party in June, so it was a good 6 months I didn't play any guitar whatsoever, and I still couldn't use the ring finger until February during the Fleetwood Mac tour. So I'm just now playing full chords again, just now using all four of my fingers.
What were your initial reactions?
I was just I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's somewhere out there.
So you had that positive mindset. Okay.
Yeah, you have to.
And you're a pretty positive guy overall. I've never seen you ever freak out or get upset or show your true colors in a stressful time. It's amazing the way you carry yourself, and I think that it rubs off on other people. I just want to say that it's great, man.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, of course everybody has their moments, but mine are very, very few and far between. Now I'm very aware of what can happen if you are not yourself in those moments, because emotions aren't you. They're an energy that kind of runs through you. And that there's a song that I'm going to put out this afternoon that actually is literally that. My friend Lauren wrote it, And the first line is, sometimes I feel my skin is too tight. It contains briefly current of emotion that is not me. So it's like, it's this whole thing where our energy is moving, and if we can recognize it, step back and observe, then we can take a moment and be like, okay, what is this showing me about myself?
Right.
And of course, it's taken moments where I wasn't conscious of that to then be like, okay, well now, you know, now like I you know, need to relook at myself and recenter and like, all right, so like, and I went 8 months without singing in 2015 into 16 because I had developed a cyst. So I had already been through, like, I knew that Mike had my back.
Yeah.
The group expressed that they had my back, that we're going to get through this. And so I was just like, all right, well, I'll get through this. And I knew from previous experience that I could totally get through it. And I just kept imagining myself playing, like, with all my fingers. And like, but it was weird. I couldn't even, like, do dishes for a while.
That's
like, I
insane.
like, didn't do anything with my hand for, like, a couple months. So it was, like, another, like, really interesting thing. But, yeah, the emotions and what you feel are everything toward what you choose to do. And I've definitely learned a lot from that. And I had never played slide guitar before. I never dove into didgeridoo before.
Didgeridoo didn't happen prior to the injury.
Right, like I had one and I had played it, and I played it too much one time and like strained my throat, so I like put it down for a few months. And then when I had the finger thing is when I really like was like, okay, I'm gonna master this thing a little more. So that was a benefit that came from that. And then the jam box is that instrument. It's actually invented by some guys here in Albany.
No
Their
way.
office is right down the road. So it's air-based. It's a MIDI controller that's air-based that has a mouthpiece that slides back and forth that initially Mike DeCesar, really, really good friend of mine, and now at this point I've known them for 5-6 years now, created it for his buddy Dave, who had gotten injured in a skiing accident because Dave could only play harmonica. So Mike was like, we're going to make you something that you can play anything. So you can play any digital instrument with that thing. It bundles with Ableton Live, actually.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Yeah, it's Jambox with 2 X's.
That's awesome.
Phenomenal product. It was like, I played it a lot during that time, and they're still continuing to develop it and improve the sensors and improve the software. And then they have like a whole medical side where there's video games that are using the same technology. So instead of, if you're like bedridden from surgery and you need to exercise your diaphragm, there's a video game that goes with that the hardware that you can play like Angry Birds by blowing. So you're not having to like just like blow into this thing. You're like literally playing a video game to keep yourself healthy and keep yourself healing. So it's really tremendous. And I know those guys work really hard. And they were the reason why I could play anything.
Did they reach out to you or vice versa?
Dave actually saw me at Whiteface in like 2013 or 14 playing a harmonica. And he like rolled up, he's like, yo, we got this digital harmonica we want you to check out.
Wow.
And, so I've been staying in touch with those guys and kind of behind the scenes giving them some feedback on it and continuing to develop it. I have a couple projects I'm working on now with it. Dialing it in, and then there's actually a couple shows where we recorded them. There's a song that we played at Skinny Pancake where it just happened in the middle of a river, and we just like went into this groove, and it's probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever been a part of. Like I'll send it to you.
Was this at Tumbledown?
This was 2019, so it was like April,
okay,
or February.
Yeah,
one of those. We didn't have any keys for that show, so I was like more. It actually taught me how to play rhythm guitar a lot better.
Did it really?
Yeah, because on the screen you have like a layout of the piano, and when you are playing a scale, if you think do re mi fa sol la ti do, it's actually 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So maybe when you think about those blues guys and they're like, all right, we'll do blues 1 5 6 4. Like they're talking about the 1, the 5, the 6, the 4 in that scale.
Oh, okay.
And on the screen, it's mapped out 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So it made me learn how which one of those to use in certain times.
Yeah.
And I learned that the 1 and the 5 are always correct. So I could start on the 1 or the 5 with the jam box and fade it in with my volume pedal, and I wouldn't be causing any distraction. I'd be like adding something. It made me realize, because there were a couple shows where I like was doing way too much with it. And like the cool thing about our group too is like we can all handle criticism, constructive criticism.
That's good.
Everybody can. So it's like, and it's welcome and it's invited. So like it was like, yo, that was, listen to this recording here, like way too much. Okay, do less. It made me realize on the guitar, do less, be with the beat,
Right.
just less is more. Sometimes nothing is what you should do.
And even approaching,
Yeah.
so like taking everything you're saying and approaching even like the slide, it's you're not, it's not a strum. It's you're, for example, I don't mean to always bring it back to Change My Mind, but it is one of my favorite
Love that
songs.
song.
And just the one performance you guys did at the Barrel House, where it was like the first time I saw you use the slide. I think it might have even been like the first. I think you were telling me it was like one of the first, like, real few times you were using it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but just like you adding, I don't know, just some of that. Oh no, it wasn't a slide. It was that flat, like, I'm sorry, it was Mike doing that.
Oh,
the
the
like
bow?
chisel thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
at
think
Stowe
she
though,
too,
you were using the slide, and it was just so cool and like Western sounding, and what songs you already guys had. And
Yeah.
does it feel good to have different tools to approach a song?
Definitely.
Good.
It was out of necessity at the time when I was like learning it, but I like picked it up like way quick. It was like 2 weeks later I could play it whatever I wanted. I was like, this is sweet.
Really?
Yeah, and then listening
Damn.
to Derek Trucks and like a couple other guys from like the blues scene and like that, like listening to the tone and like kind of like dialing in my overdrive and reverb, like it put me in this like, okay, like now I have like this flavor.
Yeah.
And learning that touch was extremely helpful. Being light with it, and it's just a whole new way to make melodies. So I'm like really grateful for that.
That's awesome.
For
man.
sure. Yeah, and I found the exact slide I like, and like I got like 5 of them because I've dropped like 3 of them.
Is it glass or brass?
I play with glass right
Glass.
now.
Okay.
I'm not against using brass.
Is there a difference or?
The tone that you would get.
Okay.
Because of the materials, the way that they go on the strings. I do have a brass one.
Oh, nice.
It's somewhere in my car though, but it would give you more of a metallic friction.
Okay.
On it. Yeah,
That makes sense. So now, just with where you guys are at today, and I this is something I ask a lot of people who are in the scene. Do you consider yourself a jam band? How did you get clumped into this jam band scene? I mean, is it something? Were you listening to jam music prior to this? Like, what got you to where you guys are? I wouldn't say viewed, but I guess like clumped into, in genre, not genre-wise, but just in the whole grand scheme of things.
Yeah, the first time I saw a jam band was Fish in 2008 when they did that tour after having a little bit of a break. Because Mike was like, "Yo, I got this extra ticket. We got to go," and it was.
Oh, in 2009.
It must have been 2009.
Yeah.
Or like, it was between my junior and senior year, so it was around that time.
Okay.
But it was the first time where I was like, holy crap, I could feel the energy of everybody, and it was like this, like, wow. That's how I feel very humbly but strongly that music and sound is completely healing, because it's the most elevated I've ever felt.
Right.
With nothing else being put into my body. Like, just so lifted because of the sound and the way that everybody links together energetically. And then you have heartmath.org, who's been studying how the heart actually extends from the body physically, measurably.
Wow, I'd never even heard of this.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like, and then you have Joe Dispenza, who talks about like basically the coherent field. I might be using the wrong words from how he talks about it, but it's basically like when we're sharing an experience, the energy is going into our mind and into our experience, but like when we're sharing it, it becomes like amplified, and we basically influence each other subconsciously. And it's kind of like being proven by science too. So
Wow.
there's that element. That show was amazing. The Glow Stick Wars, obviously, it's the first time I ever saw anything like that. We were there early, so we were part of the lot crew, and it was like
You got the full experience.
yeah, the full experience, and it was so great. And then I do humbly feel like we're able to go anywhere in the music with even just as a duo, as a trio, with our 6-piece. I'm humbled by everybody's ability to support each other, and be willing to go places, willing to make to try anything, because I won't call it a mistake. It's, you know, if you play the wrong note, you just play the wrong note again, and then it's the right note.
Right.
Or you slide one fret. You're always one fret away from a correct note. So it's like, I learned that from Victor Wooten's book, The Music Lesson. If you have a chance to check that out, definitely do so. So we have the ability to go deep, and what we're learning is if we do it a couple times a show, it's perfect, and not on every song. And as long as we're mixing up kind of who is taking the lead of that conversation musically, it prevents ear fatigue. Instead of it being a guitar solo every song, it's like, okay, now we got the keys, and maybe we'll like fade in and out of like the different ones. So now we're writing for that, and also intending to bring forth more lyrics than not. So that,
Okay.
because there are a couple people who've been like, dude, you didn't play this song, like, you just played for like 15 minutes, and it's just like, for us, it's like really fun because we're just like co-creating the whole time. But we want to remember the whole interaction, the experiences for everybody. So our intentions moving forward are to write for diversifying the melodic leads,
Oh,
but
cool.
also leaving moments where, okay, this whole section of the song, there's no plan, and then here's the cue that's going to bring us back to the structure. So we're mixing in the structure
nice.
and the freedom. That's kind of how it's been, but it's more intentionally now to be singing more than not.
Be singing more than not.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody. I mean, you guys both have amazing voices, and do you? Is there when you're figuring out these song structures in the early planning process? Is it just like, oh, this is a Mike song, this is a Brad song, or is it who wrote it, is singing it?
So what's really amazing is having teammates like we do. Is it's all for the song. So Mike has actually specifically written songs for me to sing.
Oh, no way.
One of our newest ones is like he's singing the verse, and it fits his voice, and only his voice can sing that part. I couldn't even do it as well as what he would do.
Wow.
So we're really dialing that in now too, and then obviously we brought back the In the Sand that Matt's going to be singing.
Fucking amazing.
The
yeah.
Formula 5. So that's like one of my favorite songs too, and like Chris can sing, and Rippy can sing, and Brock can sing. So we really want to make sure we're taking our time so everybody in our group can sing. We've been getting all the vocals involved in practice, and that's what the next couple months are going to be all about, is figuring out what we're all really great at and trying to bring it to be heard.
Yeah.
To be heard right.
That's awesome. And now looking forward, and just kind of reflecting on everything that happened in 2019 and prior, has there been any like moments that you felt like was a big milestone for you guys, or like a stepping stone to the next part of where you guys want to go? Or
I think it's interesting because you can feel like because of the last few years, I don't feel like there's ever a moment where you've made it,
right.
because you always make it.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time I play for any single person, I feel like I'm making it, because I'm quite literally making the music in that moment.
Yeah.
And it's really, really interesting to kind of think about it like that. I think the Fleetwood Mac tour that we did, where we did the Rumors album with Haley Jane in February, was like showing, it was confirming what we've always known as like when you do it really well and do it right. Matt Strong did a phenomenal job putting that tour together, and it was this thing that we joked about like 5-6 months before that. It was like, oh man, what if we did Fleetwood Mac's Rumors album with Haley, because we were at it might have been October. We were down at the Grassroots Festival, and we could hear Haley's set, and we're like, all right, we got to go listen. But we were joking about doing Fleetwood Mac's Rumors album with her, and then it like happened.
That's
which was
insane.
Like super sweet. And then having original sets also along with that tour, having people show up for the Fleetwood that didn't know who we were, be like, holy shit, like, wow, like I had no idea who you guys were, and like this was great. So like that for me was like that was doing the doing.
And it created quite a buzz too. I remember just some of my friends just from different states that you guys were playing, like the so I forgot what, I don't know if it was the Stone Church in New Hampshire. You guys played a New Hampshire date.
Yep.
But I had like a couple buddies there that were just like blown the fuck away, and like I didn't know that they were going. And like knowing awesome. You guys and like seeing like the reception that the tour was getting, selling out Higher Ground, that's freaking awesome. That's got to be pretty humbling to know that people are not just coming out for Rumors, but they're coming out because, and they're staying at the show because you guys are playing some fucking high energy music.
Yeah, I think when you really focus on just making sure the music happens is when experiences are made and shared and memories get created. That our song Carry the Music, it used to be called Carry the Burden.
Really?
Yeah, like I wrote it as like, you got to carry the burden if you want to do. And then like before we recorded it, Mike was just like, dude, is there any like way we could maybe change those lyrics? And then it was like a week later, it was like, carry the music. If we carry the music, then we'll never lose. And it just like, it's like instantly the entire feeling that those words create, it, that's what's kept it going. Literally, because dude, with the things that we've been through to make sure that this thing keeps going. Like, 'cause when I lost my voice, Mike took over, and like he was like starting to lose his voice. So we're like, all right, we'll take a couple months and like recheck ourselves.
Yeah.
And like that, like among 20 other things that have just been like, you can't even like write this stuff. Like we bought a bus and like never used it and lost like all our savings on it. Like we've done like so many like road trips. We played like 3-4 shows a week straight for like 6 years straight, and like we were so burnt out that we were just like, okay, we need a break. Like we need to just take a little bit and like recenter and like
nothing like R&R.
Right, and the clarity that comes from space, from time, like away from something that you're like in so deep, is like so crucial. So if there's one thing that I've learned from this whole thing too, is it's just like, take that time. Rest is part of the work, and it gives you a clarity on what you're doing, and maybe another motivation. Maybe it sparks a little flame that was like kind of like still like there, but like just like take a break and some wind comes in and you got a big fire again.
So that's how you're approaching it. Is we didn't ask for this break that we've had for quite some time now, but spend your time wisely so that when things get back to normal, you can approach it in a better way, or just, I don't know, in some cases load up the ammo and get ready to go. Like that is true. And I gotta say, I really struggled with this because I was just like, because in the music scene, it's like go time every day. What's going on? Who's announcing this? Where are we gonna be next week? And then it was just like nothing. And I was like, instead of sitting here and weeping about what's not happening, what can we do to kind of, I don't know, reinvent the wheel and adapt to the situation, and not just sit here and waste time. And I mean, for me, it was learning how to do live streaming, I don't know, trying to be more helpful with venues and bands, and And for you guys, I mean, what has been the things getting you through this time?
Hope,
Hope.
knowing,
Nothing better than that.
yeah, an inner, like a complete desire, relentlessness to be somebody for someone.
Right.
Whether it's my family, my sisters, my parents, my friends, whether it has nothing to do with music. Just like, it's really been some time to learn more about ourselves. That's the thing that I am grateful for that has come from this. And just an intuitive confidence that what's true will come forward and be true, and that anything not in that area will fade away.
Okay.
So that's how I feel about everything. And it's not to bypass anything, and it's not to just sit back. It's to create what we want,
Right.
and to be what we want, and to continually move forward, but accept nothing less. So that's one of the things
That's powerful.
yeah, it feels powerful.
Yeah.
It feels powerful to be in that energy.
That's
And
good.
if you have any inkling of desire and hope, hopefully that fans the flames, and just keep going.
That's awesome, man. I know those words definitely will help people just kind of I don't know, look at something a different way, and not get so frustrated about what is troubling them. And I mean, I'll even take that advice and apply it to what I'm doing with myself, because it's, again, hearing just how you guys get through things compared to how other people do. It is pretty cool just to, I don't know, just chat and listen to how to handle a situation, especially the whole song you were talking about that you're releasing today. Pulling yourself and looking at the emotion that's currently going through your body, and analyzing that, instead of being in it and just being whatever emotion it is, painting yourself. I've never heard it explained that way. I think that's incredible, and I can't wait to hear the song. And where can people find it?
I'm going to put it out on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook.
Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook.
Yeah, so my Instagram is @BradExpressed. No spaces, no nothing.
We'll make sure it's in the link too.
Cool.
And but is there anything else you want to plug or talk about regarding Annie, or just some of the shows where people can find you?
Next Wednesday, I'll be at Barrel House in Saratoga again, playing some solo stuff for the last time for a few weeks. And then we're going to be writing. So got some new music on the horizon with the band. I know Mike's working on some solo stuff. I got a couple solo things too. Everybody's working really, really diligently to create some new stuff that we're really motivated and inspired and excited about, that we can't wait to share with everybody. And I got into crystal wrapping. This one's for you.
Oh man, thank you so much.
It's an amethyst. And there's
Wow.
there's some more that I have that are pictured on my Instagram too. So if anybody's interested in
What a fucking guy. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, you got it, dude. It's,
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so wrapped in silver. I just started doing it a couple months ago, and
That's
I've
cool.
done like 30 or 40 by now, which is like really sweet. So,
Nice, man. Thank you so much for this. I'm
Beautiful.
definitely gonna be holding on to this. And just, is there any meaning to the stone itself, that the reason why you're wrapping this one specifically, or?
Like an amethyst, how I feel, what resonates with me is those help in meditation and calmness when you hold it and feel it. Because there's a lot of metaphysical stuff that's kind of definitely coming to the forefront now that I know resonates with me.
Yeah.
It takes like an openness to be able to go there, though. It takes a willingness to feel it and to listen. So.
Damn.
Yeah, and it's like a protector stone. So I feel like it, you know, helps relax and you know, helps you listen to your intuition and hear what you need to hear to take action upon.
That's great, man. I'll definitely be keeping this close, especially when I'm going through, you know, my stressful times. It's
Yeah.
you know, and thank you again, and
Definitely.
please go and check out Annie in the Water on Spotify. On you guys are on iTunes as well.
Yep, iTunes, Spotify. There's a live album that was recorded last September. It's called Live Wee Woo. Matt coined that phrase.
Oh, okay.
Wee Woo.
Sounds
He
like a
was
Matt Richards type
Yeah,
thing.
he was just like yelling it over and over, and now it's become a thing. So the live albums that we release are going to be Wee Woo Volume 1, 2, 3.
Are they out already, or
Volume 1 is on Spotify.
Volume 1?
Yep.
Okay. There's
nice.
a lot of songs that you guys perform that isn't on Time to Play or the first album.
Right.
That I just want to just crank in my car. I'm not gonna lie. It's just like
Right.
I don't know, like seeds, balloons. It's just like
Yeah.
fuck. These
Those
songs
are all on
rip.
the list to be recorded
Really?
this winter. So
Awesome. Please
Yeah.
make sure you follow these guys, support these guys, because they're gonna be back out there when all this is done. And I can't imagine the first show already just being like so high energy, and just I don't know. I am so happy to know you guys and just cross paths when we did, because I don't know. I love the music scene, and I love everybody in it. And I especially like holding on, like with Formula 5, it's like I held on to that, and it was like that their collection of music is my life, and with you guys too, it's like I probably listen to Change My Mind probably 4 times a week. I'm not even kidding. Like I love Time to Play. It's
Hell
such
yeah.
a great album front to back, and even songs that I necessarily wouldn't have liked, I grown to like, in the sense of just like, I don't know. Sometimes in my own head, I get like, okay, I'm so secluded in what I listen to, because how many fucking Fish shows can you listen to? You know, I can't explain it. Or like that was my own ego, or my own closed-minded thinking. Or in the past for me, it was like thrash metal. I was a huge thrash metal fan, and then like getting more into like the not, I wouldn't say ballad-esque songs, but more of the slower songs that have more meaning. I like those songs I like them more than the raging, you know, come on, let's dance. Like Carry the Music it really is like defines what we're going through right now. It's such a great song, and just Live Wee Woo. I can't wait to hear this, and I don't know. I'm just really excited about it. And again, please go find Brad online. Brad Expressed on Instagram. Follow him on Facebook. Follow Annie in the Water. This has been episode 5 of From the Office. You can find this podcast on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, Facebook. And just thank you all for tuning in. And I'm happy we are doing this one outside, because it's going to be cold, really cold soon. It's not going to be possible. And honestly, it's kind of spawned like some ideas for me, because I was like, I've done them all in my office. I got to get the hell out of there sometimes. I'll go cuckoo or wee woo, you know? So, but thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for coming over, Brad.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm just excited to see where your journey continues.
yeah, thanks for having me, brother.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you.